Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam, the fifth Imam of Ahlul Bayt. He says, the one who is ignorant of our oppression is like the one who has oppressed us. One of the most controversial events in the early history of Islam is the attack on the house of Lady Fatima. There are those who reject the incident and they argue that the daughter of the Holy Prophet was loved by all. How could it be that the same ones who claim to be the ardent followers of the Holy Prophet, how could they perpetrate such an attack? And the intention here, brothers and sisters, is not for us to harbor hatred for our brothers and sisters in faith. It's for us to know, if your mother was murdered, would you not want to know the details? Would you not want to know what happened? Before we delve into this discussion, the basis of this presentation is the words of Imam al-Baqir. I'm sharing this with you so we don't meet Al-Muhammad on the Day of Judgment as those who were ignorant of the oppression that they endured. There may be those who agree with the conclusions that we draw tonight, and there may be those who continue to doubt. In the end, you have to make the decision. You have to draw your own conclusion. After the departure of the Holy Prophet, Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam conducted the washing of the body. He washed the sacred body of the Holy Prophet. He shrouded Rasulullah. He buried the Holy Prophet. Shortly after, Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam and the family of the Prophet, they received the shocking news that there is a newly elected Khalifa. Amirul Mu'mineen and many prominent companions, they refused to give allegiance. There are many who gave allegiance to Abu Bakr, but there were many prominent companions who resisted. Because only a short while ago, Rasulullah said, "Man kuntu mawlah, fahadha Aliyun mawlah." Al-Abbas ibn Abdul Muttalib refused to give bay'ah. Al-Fadl ibn al-Abbas refused to give bay'ah. Al-Zubayr ibn al-Awam refuses to give bay'ah. Abu Dhar, Salman, Al-Barra ibn Azib, Ubay ibn Ka'ab, many companions refuse. But the most dangerous one who refused in the eyes of the new government was Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullahi alayhi. Abu Bakr found himself in a precarious situation. He knows that he will never have legitimacy unless he obtains the bay'ah of Amirul Mu'mineen salawatullahi alayhi. Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam, he refuses to give bay'ah. Imam has to refuse to give bay'ah. This is nahi anil munkar. Many prominent Sahaba, they gather around Amir al-Mu'mineen. Amir al-Mu'mineen says to them that for those, if you want to fight, come tomorrow. He reaches out to many companions. He says, come tomorrow if you're serious about getting this khilafah back to its rightful owner. Come tomorrow with your heads shaved. The next day, only 4 people show up. It's easy to say, Ashhadu anna aliyan waliyullah, when your life is not in danger. But when your dunya is at risk, when your blood and your flesh are at risk, as Imam al-Hussein says, الناس عبيد الدنيا, people are slaves of dunya. وَالدِّينُ لَعِقٌ عَلَىٰ أَلْسِنَتِهِمْ. Religion is just something that people talk about. When ibtila comes, the people of deen are very few. Ibtila has now come. Those who said they are with Ali ibn Abi Talib are now going to be tested to see, are you really going to stand with Ali? Or are you going to make excuses saying that I have a wife, I have a family, I have obligations, we should be patient, we shouldn't rise up now? Shaitan is good at helping you make justifications. Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen recognizes that the support is not there. He continues to refuse. There are a number of prominent companions who are inside of the house with Amir al-Mu'mineen. Abu Bakr is alarmed. He realizes that this is a serious situation. Allegiance has to be obtained, even if it is to be done by force. Even if it is to be done by force. So he dispatches Umar ibn al-Khattab, Khalid ibn al-Walid, Mughira ibn Shu'bah, and others to go to the house of Ali, to drag him out and to force him to give bay'ah. Now, many of us have the misconception that it was those who believe this incident took place, they say it was only a handful of people that went to get the bay'ah from Ali. But I want you to think logically for a moment. Abu Bakr and Umar know who they are dealing with. They know they are dealing with Ali ibn Abi Talib. When you want to force Ali to give bay'ah, do you send one man? Do you send two? Do you send 10? Do you send 50? Do you send 100? The accounts say 300 bloodthirsty soldiers were sent to the house of Fatima. 300 were sent. The traditions say Umar ibn al-Khattab was put as the commander of this mob. They come with firewood. All of the accounts say this. Even the wood is described. Al-Hatabul Jazl. When you read these accounts, you realize that this was not a haphazard attack. This was a very calculated attack. Do you know what Al-Hatabul Jazl means? This is a type of wood that when you light it on fire, it has an extended burning time. Some wood, when you light it, it extinguishes after a short time. Al-Hatabul Jazl is wood that when it's ignited, it burns for a while. The firewood is brought because they know that there's going to be resistance, so we need to use intimidation. We need to use force. He stands outside of the house and he shouts at the house so they can hear him on the inside. He says, لَتُخْرَجُنَّ إِلَى الْبَيْعَةِ. You will come out of the house and give bay'ah. Remember, this is the house that Rasulullah used to stand outside of and say, Assalamu alaikum ya Ahl Bayt al-Nubuwah. This is the house that Rasulullah He used to greet them and he used to say to Amir al-Mu'mineen and Fatima, أَتَأْذَنُونَ لِمُحَمَّدٍ بِالدُّخُولِ. Do you give permission for me to enter? He stands and he says, you will come out or I will burn this house. Not the door. Don't think firewood was put at the door. It was put around the entire house. أَوْ لَأُحْرِقَنَّهَا عَلَى مَنْ فِيهَا. If you don't come out, we will burn this house down. Allah in the Quran says this is the house where you go to for nur. فِي بُيُوتٍ أَذِنَ اللَّهُ أَن تُرْفَعَ. And this house now is being threatened with fire. فَقِيلَ يَا أَبَا حَفْص. It was said to him that, O son of Khattab, إِنَّ فِي الْبَيْتِ فَاطِمَةً. Fatima, the daughter of Rasulullah, is inside. He says, وَإِن. He says, I don't care. It doesn't matter who is in. I have a mission today. The mission is to get bay'ah, and if they refuse, we show force. We intimidate. There are some traditions that say when Fatima Zahra, salawatullahi alayha, Allahumma salli ala when she hears the audacity of that statement, the threat to burn this house, she turns towards the grave of Rasulullah. What does she say? She says, Ya abati ya Rasulullah. Oh my father, Ya Rasulullah, ma laqina min ba'dik. Look at what we are seeing. Look what we are witnessing at the hands of these two. Look what they're doing to us. You have just departed this world and you told the ummah to follow us, to show mawadda towards us, and they are racing to destroy us. As I said, 300 soldiers arrived at the door of Ali and Fatima. Brothers and sisters, Amir al-Mu'mineen, Bani Hashim, they did not come out of the house. Fatima Zahra went to the door. Now you may say, why does she go to the door? To shame them. To shame them and remind everybody that this is not an ordinary house. I am the daughter of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. That in her khutbah, what does she say? اعلموا أني فاطمة وأبي محمد. Know that I am Fatima and my father is Muhammad. The hujjah was put against them. And my dear brothers and sisters, Fatima Zahra has ilmul ghayb. She went to that door knowing the sacrifice that she had to make. In the same way that Imam al-Hussein went to Karbala knowing that he will be martyred and accepting it because it's the only way to save Islam. It's the only way to expose Bani Umayyah. When Fatima went to that door, she knew that her shahada is the only way to expose the human idols that emerged after the death of Rasulullah. She knew. She went to the door and she says, Ya ibn al-Khattab, O son of Khattab, are you going to burn the house knowing that we are in the house? The door is kicked and they enter with force. As I said, how many soldiers are there? 300. The leader of them says, and this is according to the narration of Muqatil ibn Atiyah, inshallah we'll speak about this. He says, اضربوا Fatima. Hit Fatima. Because she is an obstacle now. She is between Amir al-Mu'mineen and them. In the same way Zainab threw herself on Zainul Abidin to protect him from the enemies of Allah, Fatima al-Zahra was the shield. اضربوا Fatima, hit Fatima, not اضرب Fatima. This waw in Arabic is called waw al-jama'ah. 300 were told to hit Fatima. Now if we say that not all of them hit Fatima, say 50 of them, say 25, give a low number and say 10 men physically assaulted Fatima al-Zahra salawatullahi alayha. And this is not my words, my dear brothers and sisters. Imagine the physical assault that you have to experience to die at the age of 18. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, what does he say? He says, my mother Fatima matat min al-dharb. My mother Fatima died as a result of the physical assaults that she endured on that